folks, and welcome to ZSR2. We've got a lovely race for you today. We've got
I'm
we've
so
got even
nervous.
more race going on. Even more. Let me get switched over to the right spot for y'all to watch it. And welcome our lovely commentators today. We've got Melee Wizard and Jinxie Girl to help you know what is going on, and of course, my cropping broke. Let me go fix that, and these fine folks will tell you what's happening.
Alright then, so I am Melee Wizard and alongside me is Jinxie Girl. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing fantastic, thank you.
Alright, so we have our first round of Swiss here in this Z2 Randomizer Tournament. We have a double match here. On one side we have TheAlanHeffley versus AmazingToaster, and on the other we have crossproduct versus fon2d2. They will be playing the same seed all throughout, all four of our runners, so hopefully that'll make things at least somewhat easier to follow. And throughout this entire tournament, we will, or at least for the Swiss rounds, I hadn't really looked through the bracket flags or what have you, but they will have to go through all six palaces. They'll have to place all six gems. So I remember during the Max Rendo tournament, the length could be any which way, but these flags seem to be a bit more standardized in how long things tend to be.
Yeah, that definitely adds a little bit more difficulty for our runners, knowing that they have to complete everything, although no guesswork. You kind of don't have to worry about dipping a dungeon. You just go through and beat it. So that should be exciting.
Sometimes it's not always that simple, because keys might be a thing, and it all depends on where you find your items, because there's a lot of dungeons where you'll need to find the glove, and who knows where that is. And for all we know, one of our dungeons might require the flute, because 3-Eye Rock might be a thing. And so finding dungeons and being able to clear them in one go, it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, definitely probably a few double dips here, but I feel like all four of our runners are very well equipped to handle anything that the sea can throw at them. I think these are some great matchups going on. It's going to be really exciting.
Oh, yes. Yeah, especially this first round of Swiss, it's basically anyone could be facing off against anyone. Once we get around to rounds 3, 4, 5 in Swiss, we'll really see. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of those matchups. Those will be some really nice ones.
Oh, yeah. And it seems like there's a lot of people really excited about this tournament. There have been so many people signing up to race it. And it's such an underappreciated game, I think. I think in the whole Zelda franchise that Z2 has to be one of the hardest. And then they went and made a randomizer for it, which is just insane. And I think it's just really neat to see it showcased, especially done by so many runners that are just, top of their field. It's really exciting.
Yep, and there were, I believe, 30 runners entered into this tournament, which, from what I understand, is a record. So one other bit of information regarding the palaces themselves: any of the palaces can show up on either the east side or the west side. The towns, not so much. The towns on the east will stay on the east. The towns on the west will stay on the west. So at least that's one less thing to complicate stuff, I guess. And the only thing that our runners will start with is the candle. So who knows how long that'll last, because like I said, I know the flags will change as we go into the bracket stage. So, but having the candle is definitely a nice bit of convenience, especially for those who are not as familiar with which caves are which.
And it looks like we might be about underway here in a few seconds, so that should be exciting. Ooh, starting off in a swampy area. That's kind of mean. Well, it looks like crossproduct has already found the Great Palace.
And looks like we may have lost one of our commentators as well as the bot, so give me just a moment. Hopefully TheAlanHeffley is not finding anything just yet because I'm supposed to be tracking for him.
Yeah, so far just some exploration going on here for our runners. A little bit of lag as TheAlanHeffley finds the Great Palace as well and picks up his pea bag. Looks like fon2d2 is checking out Death Mountain as crossproduct does as well. I'm really going to try my best, guys, but this is my first time ever calming a Z2 race, so you're all going to have to bear with me. TheAlanHeffley picking up the raft.
I can try and help do play-by-plays with you as well, while we wait for Melee Wizard to figure out whatever internet issue it was that caused that disconnect. Not entirely sure.
Yeah, TheAlanHeffley picking up his raft in one of those, I believe it's a Death Mountain cave.
Yeah, we've got the blind leading the blind here tonight. It's alright. We'll do the best we can to give you the play-by-plays until we get folks who can... Until Melee comes back and we could get slightly more precise comms. Or we can have Trails fall in and join us as well. Hey, folks.
Okay, Melee Wizard is back, so. I mean, I can help you guys if you guys want. I'm not sure if Melee Wizard's internet is being sketchy.
Yeah, I can't speak to what's happening.
Definitely good with the help. And it looks like crossproduct has found one of our palaces here. It's either 3 or 6. Again, I am not very good at which palace is which.
All right, so I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
so Amazing Toast is in the town of Meetup. Looks like cross product is in the Parappa Pastor cave. And for some reason, it looks like TheAlanHeffley's stream went blank. Oh, there it goes.
That would be a death.
Yes, so far cross product is finding a 1-up on that desert tile.
I like the Samus sprite, the green Samus sprite on cross product side. That sprite is quality. It has the exact same animations as the original Metroid on the NES. Really well done sprite.
Well, it looks like you found Bagu as well. Yeah, there definitely have been some sprite evolutions in the Z2R community for sure.
I know the first day of these matches, the ability to change what your full health projectile weapon is threw some folks off a little bit, including our fearless leader Tresco here. Mark Reflect. That's Mark Reflect. That's
I love these
cosmetics.
desert encounters. They're so nasty. You get greeted with like you have a mob on fall on your head. You've got gorillas on both sides swinging boomerangs at you. Oof! Amazing Toaster gets keistered by a rock on the way out the door. But they're all over the place and they're really nasty. In the next bracket round flags, they're gonna be covered with red Dyra and orange Dyra and stuff.
Yeah, these enemies really look like they came to party today. AlanHeffley is trying to make it through those MOAs there in that room to be greeted by an Iron Knuckle so early in this game.
He's in Palace 1. I can tell by this room and the room prior. He up in A's because he doesn't have a key. He can't progress any further. Cross product enters the town of Saria. I'm not sure if people have found this yet, but he's going to pick up the spell item, the mirror, which you have to cash into the lady who evidently misplaced it. And fon2d2 I have a hard time saying that. Is in Death Mountain, figuring out what he's gonna do. And cross product gets the fire spell. This is starting to shape up like the seed that we saw before. Pretty nasty. And fon2d2 is in one of those desert encounters again. You can see the lag and the mob ones are just everywhere, just trying to poke him. And they're only worth like 5 experience points, so this is just a really trolly encounter in general. And then you have this gorilla behind everything, just nailing you with boomerangs. Really nasty, really nasty encounter.
So I should know about lag. I'm sorry. How long was I out?
About 10 minutes.
We are 9 minutes into the race now. And if you guys have a moment, if you want to explain what's going on with these 4 runners today instead of the usual 2, I'm assuming chat would like to know. They have a little bit of a visual cue on the overlay, but other folks might want to know what's happening here.
Okay, yeah, it looks like that vanilla heart container was on the grass tile, according to chat and according to his heart containers. I haven't really been able to see the drops that have been happening, so it looks like Amazing Toaster found the way to the other side of Saria as well. And I'm not sure if keys have been dropping, but the cross product is going to have an unfortunate news when he finds this key door right here that he's going to need to get through.
Yeah, well, we do have extra keys in the palaces. They're not a given that you're actually going to find them when you need them.
Yeah, this is very unfortunate. Cross product is hating life right now, up in A's, and back to start he goes. The fire spell is interesting though, because it could possibly be fairy.
I
Presume
don't
we haven't
think
seen anyone use it yet.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just gonna say. I know Cross Product has it, but I haven't seen him use it as of yet.
And according to the tracker, it appears that Death Mountain holds the magical key, which could be the key to the seed. Okay, so in Peabag Cave there was a raft. It looks like AlanHeffley's got a. They're both the same. They're both the same. AmazingToaster has the raft as well.
Yep, TheAlanHeffley finding the magic boots in the magic container cave.
Oof, that's a huge find because AmazingToaster hasn't found that yet. TNT cross product sprite is Samus from the original Metroid NES.
Yep, the palette's looking kind of weird, but that's definitely Samus.
And getting the spell at the town of Rauru is absolutely awful.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of stuff that's been sequestered away on the east side. We already know that both the trophy's on the east side, and we know that the medicine's in P6. And AmazingToaster finding the glove.
That's a big deal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you know what's pretty funny is the medicine in P6. That could be required, and it could be really awful to get to.
Mm-hmm.
But I have faith in TheAlanHeffley. I believe that because he has the boots, he will quickly find a medicine cave. He has a tracker, and there he is. He's in Medicine Cave as I'm speaking about it. So, yeah, at this point, TheAlanHeffley evens it back up. Possibly even has a slight edge because he's got the magical boots and the raft. So he might sail east after this. He hasn't, however, he hasn't gotten the spell from Saria yet, which he will soon. But who's gonna sail east first? That's what I want to know.
So just to give our viewers a little information, TheAlanHeffley is playing the AmazingToaster and Cross Product is playing fon2d2. So we have a 1v1, 1v1, but they're all four playing the same seed. So you're going to have a winner, two winners actually, one from TheAlanHeffley and the AmazingToaster race, and then Cross Product and fon2d2. A winner will be chosen out of there. We're just running two races at one time.
Yeah, and they're actually streamed vertically instead of horizontally. So so everyone knows AlanHeffley is racing AmazingToaster, which is underneath of him, and fon2d2 is facing Cross Product, which is and it looks like AmazingToaster is about to find the magic boots. I wonder if he up and A's and just goes to sails east. At this point, well, he doesn't have the spell from Rauru yet, so that is kind of a factor. And right here, TheAlanHeffley is going to get the spell, or he's going to get the fire spell, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does from here. If I were him, I may sail east. I'm not sure. I kind of jumped into this thing a little late, so I'm not sure of his exploration. But there was a hammer-blocked cave on the western continent, and so that might be the last one. Or he has two more caves. No, wait a minute. Yeah, the last cave's hammer-blocked. He needs to find a grass tile, which he just did. So it'd be interesting if he sails east right now. That would probably be the play. And I'm very interested to see what fire is linked to. He can cast it right now.
Depending on what the spell is, it may not be something we'd really notice right away.
Yeah, AmazingToaster at Magic 1, and TheAlanHeffley at Magic 3. If that turns out to be the fairy spell, that could be kind of a big deal. And it looks like TheAlanHeffley.
If nothing else, the having access to Fairy will get you through some of those key doors.
Yeah, absolutely. I've played Swiss Round Flag Siege where it was combined with Fairy, and you could get it as cheap as 8 MP. Did someone already cast the fire spell?
If they have, I haven't noticed it yet.
Yeah, and it looks like okay. The town of New Kasuto is immediately found first forest tile on the right next to the last spot on the eastern continent. So you're gonna need to have a hammer to get in there. And TheAlanHeffley checking these forest tiles early on because a lot of the time they carry 500-point P bags, and early on you can grab some really quick, easy levels.
And how we know that the TheAlanHeffley found New Kasuto is it was a lone forest tile that did not have some sort of event flag to it.
And
So
that cave that he just went into was the back end of Bonner Pass, and the one that he just entered was the front end of Bonner Pass. So right off the bat, we know that Bonner Pass is not a viable solution. It will just loop back into itself, and it's a waste of time. So knowing that information, he's going to proceed eastward. And with the fluid, he's going to be able to enter upward. Sorry, Melee, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine. So just a reminder, I know on the west side we had Great Palace and either 3 or 6. Did we ever find the other palace in there on the west side?
I tuned in a bit late. I'm not really sure, but I do know that TheAlanHeffley is in an item cave right now. This is the Risen P-Bag Cave, which generally holds a 500-point P-Bag in vanilla, but in the randomizer is randomized with items in it. And you can see he just gets smacked around by an invisible eyeball Moa, which are awful enemies in this game, and they like to reside in that particular cave.
Although, given the nature of randomizer, those MOAs can pretty much be anywhere on the east side.
Oh yeah. Well, in the Swiss round flags, there's okay, so it looks like, was that okay, no, he didn't there's no indication of what it was. He cast fire by the Lizalfo and it did nothing. This Lizalfo is stuck halfway in the grass, and they're worth 150 XP. Not that bad, but and it's probably worth an early grind. fon2d2 in Death Mountain, probably looking for the magical key. TheAlanHeffley finding the trophy in the Risen P-Bag. He has a convenient game over, which puts him back in the west, in which he can cast the trophy in.
Yeah, Ruto was found pretty much right away. So one more spell to add to the pile. We're kind of in the need of a lot of spells. We haven't seen Fairy, we haven't seen Thunder, we haven't seen Reflect, so...
Here's something interesting. Cross product sails east, but immediately goes northward. Finds 2 towns and a palace. That he gets the shield spell, which is pretty good early on. I'm not really sure where fon2d2 is at because he doesn't really have a tracker, but I know he's in Death Mountain. AmazingToaster going for those quick, easy 500-point P-Bags and those encounters. I'm not sure what he's trying to do. He entered one. Is he trying to game over? Yeah, maybe. He just did the up and A.
And get a quick level and go, I guess. And, yeah, Inruto is the fairy spell.
Oh, man, that's kind of a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
He can now basically just run through these palaces like no one's business.
Well, Fairy's not exactly the cheapest spell out there.
And we got indications that the child is in Palace 3.
Okay.
Because crossproduct just went into the town of Darunia. He is now in the Risen P Bag Cave, where he will also find a trophy spell, which leads to Fairy, which is huge. If you saw the race, the last race that just happened, the Fairy spell was withheld until like 1 hour into the seed. They didn't get downstab. So
Yeah, not having downstab for a while is kind of mean, and it's the Amazing Toaster finding Palace 2. And Old Kasuto.
yeah, the shield spell was in Old Kasuto Town.
Okay.
Amazing Toaster. Oh, excuse me. Amazing Toaster is going to get the information about the child being in Palace 3.
Yeah, I apologize, I'm a little behind on the comm stream because my internet's not exactly high-end.
Yeah, fon2d2 is all in on this. Death Mountain.
Yeah, I understand that. Goodness knows in my race, I put some significant time in early on in the Death Mountain, which did kind of pay off.
It looks like he's literally drawing a map, which is pretty interesting.
Given the nature of Death Mountain, I get that, because you could get yourself lost real easy, even with a guide to which cave is which.
This is actually really incredible. I've never seen this before. I mean, it's eating up time, but he's like tracking Death Mountain by hand, which is pretty cool.
Wasn't there a hint that the magic key was in here somewhere?
There absolutely was.
Okay, let's hope it wasn't in Spectacle Rock.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of poopy. But also, if he stumbles upon a hammer in Hammer Cave, and New Kasuto has thunder, fon2d2 is going to have a significant lead. But he takes an unfortunate game over, and back to start he goes.
Well, the entrance to Death Mountain is supposed to start, so if he wants to dive back in there, he can.
So unfortunate, but TheAlanHeffley having a pretty significant advantage at this point. He has the ability to get downstab, and he has the ability to complete palaces. And fon2d2 finds Great Palace, which I believe is on the Western Continent and is yesterday's news. The best way to do Death Mountain is to just do it, in my opinion. But everyone's got their own strats, and it's interesting to see other people and what they do and how they attack these sort of seeds.
Looks like Fawn is diving back in, looks like.
He wants that magical key, and I don't blame him. I'm not sure if
especially when you don't have Fairy. Because without Fairy, keys are pretty much your only way of making any headway in a lot of palaces.
Well, in a race type of environment, tracking Death Mountain like this seems like it would be kind of detrimental.
Well, so is getting lost.
Well, if Fairy is expensive and a magical key is like the key to the seed, I mean, Palace 4 and Palace 6.
I think I just saw a hint from Amazing Toaster about the hammer. I think did it say west?
It cannot be in the west because the last cave on the west is hammer blocked. So it might have been the
I'm pretty sure it said go something. I wasn't sure if it said east or west, but based on what you said, it might be east.
It's probably east then. It would be pretty interesting if it said, Death Mountain has the hammer or something like that, because holy cow, fon2d2 would be on something. And darn it, I missed. Okay.
Get the thunder spell.
Yeah, a magical container. Thunder spell in the town of Nibiru, according to his tracker. And he also has the fairy spell. Did he get downstab yet? He found Hammer Cave. fon2d2's inside Hammer Cave as we speak.
Nice.
If this is a 500-point P-bag, I feel so bad for him.
Oh yeah, after all the time and effort he put in.
This Red Dyra only dropping 70 experience points. Pfft, come on, game. Give me a break.
Yeah, randomized XP gains can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, sometimes these orange guys are worth $150, and that's awesome. Right now they're worth 30. You see, AmazingToaster killing this Red Alphos. Let's see what he's worth. They can be worth like 50 also, which is kind of a bummer. 100, not too bad.
And one nice thing about starting with the candle, it at least makes fighting these red Dyras a lot easier, because you can actually see them.
Big oof. Irfan is like, holy cow. That is the last thing he wanted to see, I guarantee you. But he sails east. Does he have the boots?
I believe everyone has the boots, according to the trackers.
AlanHeffley is going to be the first to get downstat. According to the chat, there's a three-eyed rock. Yep, three-eyed rock, but the flute was free for the taking right on the east or western continents. These guys are lucky for that.
Yeah, at least it's not just buried deep in like Palace 5 or something.
There's a medicine in Palace 6 or something, or
Palace 6, yeah, has the medicine. Oh, the medicine, yeah.
We're getting a little buffering on the AlanHeffley side, so hopefully this will come back soon.
It appears that the Orange Zalfo are stone-skinned and invulnerable to sword swings, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah. Because they're a bit of a pain to deal with just on a regular day.
And crossproduct has downstab. I failed to realize that. Downstab for Metroid is kind of crazy. And he's doing the Death Mountain gamble too, so he's going to be awarded. But the thing is, his Death Mountain was much quicker than fon2d2's. He found Hammer Cave in no time.
And while the heart container is not the best thing, longevity is never a bad thing. Especially when you're in a Great Palace, that extra health can mean a lot.
When he casts shield, he looks like Spider-Man. Cross product. Doesn't cross product look like Spider-Man right now? Now he's green.
Yeah, I definitely see that. And
so, the AlanHeffley enters a palace that I'm not aware of. It's either 2 or 5. Toby McGuire.
Well, I know 2. 2 was by the pair of palaces, the pair of towns on the east side. So.
Yeah, this is Palace 2. You can tell by this room right here.
I had seen that was too earlier. I think it was TheAlanHeffley checked the statue out front some time ago.
fon2d2 enters 2, says no thank you. I wonder what the dripper enemy is, because the past 2 seeds, they've been straight hot trash.
Mine was... The one from my race was halfway decent. It was a jumping rope worth 50.
That's a Chewy worth 70 EXP. With attack 2 though, they take 2 hits, unfortunately. If he gets another attack level, they will go down in 1 sword swing. The item drops seem to be trash in this seed. No 500 P bags yet again. And cross product, not upping and aing with that petty 382 experience points. Gonna waste a little bit of time, but you know what? I'm guilty of this as well. fon2d2 turning around. Guess not really wanting to hint for the child. At this point, the Reflect is the only spell that's outstanding. And I feel like these runners are going to have a choice they're going to have to make. It's going to be either Palace 3 or Palace 6. Honestly, I would do Palace 3, and then because it'd be Palace 3 is only 13 rooms, and it's pretty. Generally, a lot of times you run into the item room while you're on the way to the boss. Anywho, so it appears that 3 out of 4 of our runners have downstab. TheAlanHeffley has it. AmazingToaster has it, and crossproduct has it. I don't think fon2d2 has the fairy spell yet, does he?
No. Because Fairy was in Ruto. And fon2d2 does not have the trophy yet.
First gem for TheAlanHeffley. I may have taken magic. Just because fairy cast can be pretty important right about now.
Given that we have to drop all six gems anyway, I don't think levels would be that big of an issue here in the long run. I did see a fon2d2. There was a hint regarding the item in Palace 1 was a 500 P bag. So at least that's one that we won't have to dig for.
You said in what, Palace 1 is a 500 point P bag?
Yes.
Well, I might actually grab it this early in the game because you can see Magic 4 for TheAlanHeffley would be just a measly 550 XP points, and with the with Palace 1 only being 13 rooms, you can easily grab that and level twice off of that 1 gem. The AmazingToaster entering Palace 2. Cross product entering Palace 1, and fon2d2 starting over from start again.
Yeah, having just gotten that trophy, he probably wants to get that spell out of Ruto.
Buzz Thunder, because he only has 4 magical containers, and it's possible that P2 has like a magic container, or possibly the hammer even.
No, I think we saw a hint for the hammer. It was in I think it said go east or something, so we know it's not in the palace.
Okay. And fon2d2 getting the fairy spell, and TheAlanHeffley finding the item cave in Palace 2. Drum roll. Oh shoot, this is the most annoying thing, having to fight. Oh, cast fairy, cast fairy, cast fairy. This is such a sketchy situation. His Magros are so rude. He gets a payback.
The question in chat could be a key. We got a hint saying that the magical key was in Death Mountain, which we now know is going to be hammerlocked.
The Palace 1 and Palace 2, straight garbage. These drops, straight up garbage. I'm really liking how these seeds are rolling out. for the sake of chat. I'm sure that people watching this race want to see a good race with some troll to it. And you see AlanHeffley pulling off the fairy feet technique. Doesn't get it the first try, decides to go through the dig-shaped desert the old-fashioned way. AmazingToaster taking down Helmet Head. Call it being superstitious amazing at first, but these seeds recently have been especially trolly. Was that the hammer that he just picked up? TheAlanHeffley just picked up an item in the second P-bag cave, which could be huge. His tracker says hammer, so.
Yeah, so I'm falling behind. I'll be able to see it myself in a moment.
Gotta refresh.
And it definitely, well, I'm not using the comm stream because my internet and or my computer's not good enough to handle 4 streams running at once. So I'm running the same feed the audience is.
Lost Pirate, according to AlanHeffley's tracker, it was the hammer in Sunken P-bag cave.
Yep,
so he is the first one that has access to New Kasuto. And
it looks like it was the hammer.
It looks like this is pretty exciting between him and Toaster. They're both following each other's footsteps. It appears that Toaster's going to be by that second P-bag cave here shortly. And AlanHeffley's in the cave I hate the most. This is a double encounter cave, I believe, that has flying eyeballs on the other side. Yeah, this one. I absolutely hate this cave. The AmazingToaster's in the Sunken P-bag cave, which is going to have the hammer for him. And on the water tile, we have a magical container, which is kind of big. And that puts TheAlanHeffley in the town of Naburu right next to the water tile, so. Troll hint.
Was it the raft or something?
Max, I don't hate your cave because it's your cave. I dislike it because when you enter it at low level, you get smacked around by those invisible eyeball mowers, and it's like instant death. So. Alright, so TheAlanHeffley gets the Thunder spell. So the only thing that's outstanding at this point is the Reflect spell. I have a feeling it's going to be in Palace 6 or Palace 3. That's how this game rolls, dog. You are outstanding, Nightcrawler. P-bag on the desert tile, which is pretty helpful at this point. It looks like Toaster is going to overflow his experience and go with attack 6 strats or whatever. I don't know what he's at, but his next attack level is at 2000, it appeared. Yeah. Attack 5. So
yeah,
it looks like
Toaster's at 4 and he's the only one that's at 4. So.
Well, the thing is, he's doing the right thing by going after the magic, because with the fairy spell being and he gets a magical container, which is huge. He can now cast Thunder. It looks like the fire spell is connected to life.
That's pretty good.
Is what just happened, because AmazingToaster just got a bop, cast fire, and his life refilled. Yeah, the Nightcrawler is absolutely outstanding. if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have that Zelda sprite that TheAlanHeffley is using. He did an excellent job with that. He also did the Rudo sprite. He did the Yoshi sprite. He has a sprite for Guardian of the Universe.
There's a Yoshi sprite.
Oh yeah, it's exclusive, but it exists, and it's so well done. I used it on the weekly on this past.
So the AllenHeffley is in Nukasudo. I saw that we need 7 magic containers for the first item.
You do need a dig shape sprite. Buzz Thunder is absolutely correct. fon2d2 picks up the hammer. Jump spell is it's helpful, but it's absolutely not what TheAlanHeffley wanted to see here.
No, definitely not.
I believe that at this point TheAlanHeffley knows that it's going to be either Palace 3 or Palace 6.
If nothing else, AmazingToaster, having found magic container number 7 on Maze Island, once he gets to Nukasudo, we'll be able to see what that first item is as he finds Palace 4 on Maze Island. And that's the cross at the end of Nukasudo. Kind of a want, but being able to see those invisible MOAs, I prefer it. Better than the alternative.
TheAlanHeffley immediately attacking 3 or 6. And this is Palace 6, and this is probably the right play. The randomizer likes to throw these weird sketchy situations at you, and it's always the worst possible case scenario I've noticed.
No, that's part of the whole thing about randomizers. It kind of throws you into unfamiliar circumstances, and you'll have to adapt to them.
He immediately finds a dead end after that annoying start. It looks like AmazingToaster is also in Palace 6, so he's got a slight bit of a lead because he didn't take that weird left. I agree, Amazing Empress. I absolutely hate that room, but a lot of times I check it because a lot of times it's a shortcut to the boss, or sometimes the other side of the Canadian drop hole room is over there. So, and AmazingToaster and TheAlanHeffley crossing swords as we speak. Ooh, Barba right there. Quick Palace 6. I'm absolutely going back in for the item.
Well, we know what the item is. It's the medicine.
Yeah, but these guys, they need Reflect spell to complete this game.
True enough, yeah.
And I believe they have all of the spells, so...
Between all of our runners, I think we've seen all the spells, so that should mean that that Reflect will be in Mido.
Yeah, AmazingToaster having a beautiful fight. Is Reflect, ooh! Oh no, he just did the Highlander. He's gonna get the key. He's gonna not get the experience. He probably feels terrible for himself right about now. But his other than that, his Barba fight was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then I hate when that happens. That's happened to me before. I've done the. You got to be careful on that last stab. Because you gotta be careful on that last stab because you literally will clip right through Barba, and it's so unfortunate. But I was about to talk about, and call it commentator curse if you want. I was about to commentate on just how beautiful and perfect of a fight that AmazingToaster had, and then that happened.
Yeah, he lost out on a level, but at least he doesn't have to fight Barba again.
Yeah, that's true. And the cross product finally finding the horse head. I'm gonna put him down and place his first gem. I believe it's his first gem, isn't it?
According to the tracker, yes. So,
AmazingToaster is still having a bit of a lead. Other than that, him and the AlanHeffley are pretty neck and neck. This race is exciting, folks. Strap in. fon2d2 getting that magical key, so he's not going to have to rely on a fairy spell. So
Is that time exploring Death Mountain's definitely paying off, just being able to get that magic key real quick.
Here's the thing, though. Fairy might be required because that downward path where ooh, and a lucky red jar drop for AmazingToaster, that couldn't have come at a better time. But right after that, I believe that's the only way that you can go. You need the fairy spell. I'm not sure if he has the fairy spell.
According to the trackers, everyone has the fairy spell.
Oh, well then he's fine for Palace 6. He could go in there and beat that snake up. Maybe he doesn't have the information about the spell item being required.
Well, another thing, we didn't see the, Did anyone ever check, where the child was?
The child is in Palace 3. The medicine is in
Okay.
And the medicine is in Palace 6, so...
Okay, so one of them will lead to reflect. We just don't know which one.
Absolutely, and I've changed my mind. Right now, I want the kid in Palace 3 to be just because I want these guys to have to do more stuff.
And so the other one will be life, which since it's been linked to fire, we don't really need it.
For the for the chat, because I know the chat wants it. There was a fairy.
fon2d2 getting. Oh, okay. So apparently, I'm guessing one of the other runners might have already been there, but we have Trophy Cave with a heart container. Oh, it was hammerlocked. Okay, I see it now.
This is pretty big. Oh, why did he? Dude, the AlanHeffley could have took a death abuse. Oh yeah, Palace 6 is really nasty, and this is where fon2d2's play on going in the Hammer Cave for the magical key. I'm sorry, Spectacle Rock, also known as Testicle Rock, for that magical key because it's gonna come into play, folks. This fairy spell is very expensive, and he's gonna be able to breeze through Palace 4 and Palace 6, no problem, right? He's not going to have to worry about keys. And whereas all the other runners are going to be reliant on the fairy spell, so... Yeah, this is a pretty huge race, and it's pretty spectacular. AmazingToaster and the AlanHeffley are pretty close to each other. The AlanHeffley is in Palace 1, is key blocked, but he's going to...
that's what fairies for.
Thank goodness, in Palace 1, whatchamacallit, there's only two doors, so... He finds the dead end room that has a key. I guarantee he grabs it and opens A's. AmazingToaster right behind. I feel like AmazingToaster skipped out on the item in 6. Now all of a sudden I want 6 to be reflect.
Yeah, always want the most trolliest situation possible, right?
For the audience.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, the runners deal with the horrible trolliness so that we don't have to.
Yeah, this last seed was pretty pretty awful. Those guys they really battled it out, and it turned out to be a pretty close match at the end. But it's really difficult to take on four guys at once with this 3 stream.
So, just to review, overall, things are reasonably close between each of our races. TheAlanHeffley and AmazingToaster are on 2 palaces each. Crossproduct and fon2d2 are on 1 palace each. Now, fon2d2 is finished Palace 1. For AlanHeffley and AmazingToaster, on items, they're pretty close together. fon2d2 has a bit of an item advantage, though.
Yeah, fon2d2 is not gonna have to worry about keys, so he does have a pretty big edge. He clunked around a little bit, wasted a bit of time in Death Mountain early, but it might pay off.
Well, at least, if nothing else, at least he knows he doesn't have to go into Death Mountain ever. He's done with Death Mountain for good.
Wait a minute, does Cross Product not have the glove?
Nope.
Oof. Big oof.
And neither of them have the flute yet, but fon2d2 does have the advantage having the glove, the hammer, and the key.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. It's kind of difficult because they're both kind of messed up in one way or another, so it's kind of difficult. I know they track and they know caves, so they understand what's left over.
It's just a matter of actually finding such things.
AmazingToaster finds the horsey as AlanHeffley is still in Palace 1.
Yeah, looks like he's going to go back. I don't know if he saw the hint that it was a 500p bag, but
I think it was actually a heart container. The AmazingToaster had just picked it up, and it happened to be a heart container.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn it said a 500p bag at Horsehead. Maybe I having just
maybe
cross product see the clue about Helmet Head. Maybe that's what I saw instead.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I've made that mistake myself, even in a race environment. The swag pickup dive from AlanHeffley, that was perfect. He game overed right when he got the heart, so it sent him back to start, but he was done anyways. So,
if anything, that just makes things more efficient.
Horsehead nays with the sword sandwich at the moment. Everybody's put the horsey down. So it's really...
I think the only palace we haven't seen yet is 5, right?
Something like that.
I don't know if anyone's been through the Valley of Death yet, but if not, then that's likely where it is.
Okay, and drumroll, it's probably a 500-point P bag, and it surely is for AmazingToaster in the Spellhouse. So, the AlanHeffley not missing out on anything. They need to find Palace 3. If they're going to do this gamble, they got to figure this thing out quick, because the other player's dealing with the same thing. So.
But at least with AmazingToaster having enough magic containers right off the bat can get everything from New Kasuto in one trip.
Yeah, that's true. But I really like this play. Down halfway, jumping into 5, just to place the gem, just to get this mother sucker out of the way. He knows that it's just something he has to do. It's in the way, so may as well do it now. He's got attack 4, which Guma's gonna take some hits unless he rolled down an HP. But I really like this play. He's just kind of like, let's get this done and over with. He wants to know whether or not reflect is required for Palace or for Palace 3 spell item. So. And AmazingToaster doing a full clear of the New Kasuto town, coming up dry. New Kasuto, an absolute bust. And
but sometimes that's just how it is.
fon2d2 going through Dig Shake Desert. And in this palace, TheAlanHeffley is he's going to get levels. Absolutely. Yeah, fon2d2 is he's in zombie like strats. This race so far is so hype right now, though. I mean, these guys, they are literal neck and neck. This might be Palace 4 have they found Palace 4 yet?
Palace 4 was in the maze.
Okay, how vanilla. So, whatchamacallit, AmazingToaster, with all of his magical containers and glory, is gonna go just easily pass through Valley of Death, doing the Fairy Feet technique. Has to take a death abuse because he didn't make it the first try. But I guarantee you, TheAlanHeffley will be following right behind. But with this gem place quickly, that might give him a little bit of an edge. Palace 3 is pretty short.
Okay, so
Ouch.
Palace 3 was the one in Valley of Death?
I would hit these two with a thunder spell attack. He has thunder and he's just short of a level. I apologize, Melee. What did you just say?
So Palace 3 was the one in Valley of Death?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And immediately, AmazingToaster finds the item room.
And it's a pee bag. Not TheAlanHeffley finding a pee bag.
Yeah, TheAlanHeffley found a pee bag. I was gonna say, dude, I would throw my computer across the room if I was playing the seed and got a hint for Palace 3 having a spell item and it was a pee bag in there.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I've delay.
That was funny.
Just unfortunate timing there. Comedic, but unfortunate.
The best thing for the TheAlanHeffley at that point would have been a magical container. He needs one so badly right now.
Yeah, what with all the fairy casts plus the required thunder use in Great Palace.
These drops, dude, are absolutely terrible. I mean, no key drops. Every once in a while, a 100-point P bag drop. I mean, come on.
One thing that kind of makes it even worse regarding these randomized drops, just because the potential pool of items is bigger, that means you're going to be getting magic drops even less than normal.
Exactly. But I mean, if you're able to level up magic enough, it wouldn't be a problem because you'd be able to cast fairy more. At some point, fairy becomes 30 to even 20 experience points. TheAlanHeffley got a key drop, which is pretty huge. Finds ball skooma.
With attack 4, this will take a little bit.
Nah, TheAlanHeffley's a boss. He's gonna handle this.
Well, I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying it'll take a while just because it's attack 4 against Guma.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it looks like that he maybe didn't roll up, but he has some HP.
I find it interesting that he's using jump against Guma. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, jump is something that I used early on when I fought Guma. It's weird. Like the secret behind Guma is running during a quick crouch stab, right?
Yeah, that's
And
what
then
I
you-
typically do, yeah.
And then waiting about maybe a second. There's like some timing to it, and then you can just jump over his mace and wreck him. Like, he's really not that difficult.
Yeah, it's all about getting the timing down.
Tao takes down Guma at the exact very same time that Amazing Toaster takes down Ribbonak. So an Amazing Toaster saves for some odd reason, Denver being on the other side of the town. He's in the wrong neighborhood at the moment, and he needs to get back on the other side of town.
Maybe thought that was the faster way of getting to wherever it is he was trying to get to now.
You know, you're absolutely right. He's playing the seed, and it's probably right on the other side of the tile, of the raft tile. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Took him 10 seconds to get there, much quicker than I thought.
Because there was those two towns just north of the raft spot.
And a big drum roll and a please for Palace 6 again.
Oh yeah, double dipping 6. It's always such a fun thing.
I thought Amazing Toaster just made a save state or something for a second. And he's grabbing the upstab technique, which I don't
You're already
disagree.
here, might as well.
Yeah, it would be a real bummer if this was required, but I generally, unless I really need it, you know, I don't generally get it. If I pass through, if it's convenient for me, you know.
Yeah, I figure if I'm passing through Darunia and I have the means of getting it, might as well.
Cross product, on the other hand, gets the glove. This is going to be really interesting. Fon going straight, possibly the right direction. I missed what Darunia had.
I'll
Oh,
see.
okay. Darunia must have had Reflect because he just switched meter to life. So, but is he heading back to Palace 6?
Nope, life is in Darunia.
He's heading back to Palace 6.
Yep, so that life was in Darunia, which means Reflect is in Mido. Which means double dipping 6.
The dream. Yeah, and TheAlanHeffley has to, or the Amazing Toaster has to come back and do Palace 5, which is oof. TheAlanHeffley just taking a lava bath. Come on, man. Not like this. Yeah, so Amazing Toaster is gonna have to do 5. At this point, as long as Tak holds it together, he's got a pretty commanding lead. I mean, Palace 5 is, you know, it wasn't free. He was in there for a while, so.
Well, I mean, bear in mind, you know, AlanHeffley, I believe he's in 3 now.
Yeah, TheAlanHeffley is in Palace 3. He's a gem up on Toaster, though. I mean, they're tied up.
The downside is AlanHeffley is going to have to go back into 6 as well.
Man, chat is so lit right now. Man.
I mean, which would be worse? Double dipping 6 or double dipping 5?
Double dipping 5, absolutely. I think 6 is much shorter.
It's just a bit more complicated because of the drops.
Yeah, 6 has that like puzzling aspect to it where, you know, you might have to take a drop and then take another drop and it can be a little confusing. However, Palace 5 is 27 rooms of just awful.
Yep. It's just whichever you find more annoying, puzzling or just plain huge.
Ooh, AlanHeffley pulling the backup strats. You have fire. Get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. Yeah, you got him. Got him in that corner. Ooh. Ooh, got him. Got him. AlanHeffley pulls it through. And AmazingToaster taking the fairy hole drop into immediate another drop.
Meanwhile, on the right side, crossproduct facing off against Barbo while fon2d2 is going through Palace 3.
According to the tracker, fon2d2's got a slight lead against crossproduct. He's placed 2 gems already. He's about to place his 3rd gem, and AmazingToaster is finding the item room first because he found the pass-through Rebenak, which is going to be immediately connected to you. Beautiful Rebenak fight by the AmazingToaster.
So are both the mini-boss Rebenak fights connected to each other? One right after the other?
No, but you can't enter that room from the right-hand side. So they've already seen that one drop that has the little crumble bridge in the middle. And once you see that and you've seen the boss, the only thing that can be on the other side of the pass-through Rebo is the item.
Okay, fair enough. I wasn't sure how such things worked. I just know the difference between one and the other visually.
I currently want Digshake to reverse all the palaces like they did in Zelda 1 with the overworld.
Oh, wow.
And that would be really awesome.
Would throw so many people for a loop.
Yeah, if you enter from the left-hand side and you enter the boss from the left-hand side, it would be like relearning the game almost. Yeah, Cross is he definitely puts cross-product definitely puts a lot of he values the XP points.
Yeah, well, I guess it would seem like kind of a waste to use a gem for just 23 experience.
Now, the AlanHeffley jumping immediately into Palace 6, I really like this play. He's like, look, I'm getting he turned it in. So he already knows the bad news. And AmazingToaster is going into Mito Town to turn in to get the Reflect spell, finally.
Yeah, that's the trolley item for today, it seems.
That's how the randomizer rolls, man. Yeah, and that's the thing. I guarantee you that the AlanHeffley finds the medicine before Toaster beats Guma. It's because Guma was it took AlanHeffley at least 5 minutes in Palace 5 to get Guma, and he even found the item room. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Ta's got at least a small lead at this point.
Yeah.
What he does with it, hopefully he manages it well, and he ends up on the other side. But, you know, I don't have any bias against this race. So far, it's been very exciting. These guys have done 2 different things, and yeah, Cross and cross product and fon2d2 are in the exact same room, which is pretty exciting. And and Ta's in the same room with them. So 3 guys crossing swords all at the same time.
And I don't think fon2d2 has checked the spell at Darunia yet. So I'm curious to see whether he'll stick around and get the try to get the Water of Life here now.
That's so crazy that Ta was in the same room as these guys. Now, TheAlanHeffley, he doesn't know, but he wants to take this drop. Oh, okay. Kill yourself. Kill yourself. Oh. He needs the fairy. He needs some, he needs to get some magic so he can fly through that fairy hole. No, wait a minute. He didn't want to do that. Maybe this is the right way? I can't remember. I know, it looped, it looped, AmazingToaster back into that room.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to keep that sort of thing straight when you're watching 4 different streams.
Yeah, maybe they need to take it to the bottom because fon2d2 is about to hit the loop, and he's gonna get the bad news. But he has the key, so it's not gonna matter. And looks like cross product found the right way. So maybe, yeah, maybe going right here was the play. I don't know, unless cross product went all the way downstairs. Not really sure.
Well, cross product is on the way towards getting the Water of Life, at least.
Yeah, he knows what's up. And AmazingToaster fighting Goomba. AlanHeffley reaching a dead end. Yeah, so at this point, I definitely give the lead back to AmazingToaster. It appears that the AlanHeffley chose the wrong path, unfortunately.
Oh dear. That AmazingToaster benefiting from having life linked to fire. That has some cheap healing.
Look at
Goomba fight a lot easier.
Oh man, fon2d2 took a game over.
Oof, ouch.
Right now, AmazingToaster has a commanding lead. All he has to do at this point, he even has upstab technique. All he has to do is place that gem and get into GP. Yep. House 4 is generally pretty small, so...
And one bit of quality of life in the Z2 randomizer. Normally, when you game over in a palace, the only time you actually start at that palace is when you're in GP. In the Zelda 2 randomizer, that expands to all of the palaces. That's definitely a nice thing, so that at least fon2d2 doesn't have to walk all the way back to Palace 6.
Yeah, that would be so unfortunate. And looks like the AlanHeffley is found. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't the right... Or it might be the right way, but this wasn't the room that I thought it was. Yeah, the cross product really puts a lot of... He really likes his experience points.
is I'm not too familiar with
AlanHeffley needs
who does.
to draw.
I'm not really familiar with who does what. Is cross product more of a? Is he a vanilla runner?
Cross Product is a guy. He runs this game. Sometimes I would say he's a very, very new player. I think he ran it back in the old tournament, maybe.
Well, I'm not talking about like the randomizer. Was he a runner of like all keys 100 or something like that?
Not that I know of. He might have a time up there. I mean, I could check really fast, but we could just ask him during the interview.
I'm just thinking like that may be a reason why he's doing the experience on, because I think when you're doing like the vanilla runs, like your any percent all keys 100 and whatnot, you kind of have your XP routing set a certain way, so it may take an adjustment to adapt to how Randomizer can throw that for a loop.
The thing is, though, in Zelda 2 Randomizer, the experience points don't really hold too much weight. I mean, they do to an extent, but if you have Palace 5, then you're pretty comfortable. Yeah, Cross is a seasoned Link to the Past runner, and he runs all sorts of things. I've seen him run Dr. Mario before. I mean, he's one of those guys that just kind of puts on his stream and plays games, but he's a very good Super Metroid player. He's excellent at Super Metroid. He enters a lot of tournaments, and the Super Metroid Link to the Past combo thing he's good at.
Alright, so the item and Palace. Actually, no, is that Palace 4 that?
Yeah, it was a magic container.
Okay, I just trying to remember if he was in 4. I was like, where else would he be?
Yeah, fon2d2 definitely he runs the all keys. I'm not sure of his PB. Yeah, I agree. Amazing Emperors. Fast spell casting is a godsend.
Honestly, I haven't even used that because I'm more used to going into the menu myself. But that's probably a me thing.
Oh man, TheAlanHeffley almost took a bath right there, and he's one room away from Rebo.
Yeah, you always got to be careful in these, especially when you have basically Castlevania bats flying about.
Yeah, these are like the Medusa heads.
Yeah, them too.
Yeah, and those little bots are the worst. And AlanHeffley in the item room. An AmazingToaster has gotten a good amount of this Palace 4 done. I don't know if he went full south. I think that's just a lot of time the strat. Full south is when you see that drop room, in which I saw him see it. You know what I mean? Like he definitely saw the drop room, and he jumped down in it, and you go to the bottom floor. If he jumps in this one, it probably takes him down to the bottom floor. Yeah, so I don't know if he's already explored, right? Because he wouldn't be going left otherwise. But a lot of times that's the play. And that Palace 6 and the fairy spell really just gave TheAlanHeffley the blues, unfortunately.
But he got his Water of Life. We'll be getting that Reflect spell, and we'll be on his way to Palace 4.
He's gonna be on his way to Palace 4, but AmazingToaster is gonna be on his way to GP.
And, And while GP can be trolly in its own right, I think that the Palace 4 is going to be a lot more fun. And while GP can be trolly in its own right, I think that the Palace 4 is going to be a lot more fun. And while GP can be trolly in its own right, I think that the Palace 4 is going to be a lot more fun. And while GP can be trolly in its own right, at least it won't take long to walk there because it's like right near the start.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That totally sucks, man. Cross product took a bath. He's got every single spell from the Western continents. I don't think he needs to dig out the thing. I think he's got Thunder, Reflect. I know he's got Reflect, at least, and Fairy.
AmazingToaster has all the spells.
No, cross product. Yeah, AmazingToaster and AlanHeffley just about 100% of this seed. AmazingToaster actually did 100% this seed because he's got his whole trackers lit up with every single item.
He doesn't have the key. The only one with that key is fon2d2.
That's right, and that must be where the last heart container resides. That's right, because he found it in Hammer Cave.
Yeah, the heart container was in Hammer Cave, and the magic key was in Spectacle Rock. And at hour 21:19, AmazingToaster is our first one into GP.
This is pretty interesting. I mean, at this point, it's, it would have to be a really nasty GP and really fortunate routing by TheAlanHeffley to be able to catch up, unfortunately, because he's got a whole palace in front of him, and AmazingToaster is top 10.
And not to mention, AmazingToaster also has an advantage in that he's got more magic containers and heart containers than AlanHeffley does.
Yeah, he's got just about every single item except for Hammer Cave. The other ones were P bags and magical. We have a T-Bird sighting. Fighting.
Wow, that was fast. Question in chat, is T-Bird required? Yes. T-Bird is always required under these flags. It's just a matter of the distance you have to travel between T-Bird and Dark Link. That's where the problem may lie.
Yeah, there's potential for some sketchy drop room situation. He passed through my room, which is a drop room, and he might be put into a weird. He has to pick between 2 or 3 drops to be able to proceed to Dark Link. So there might be some looping going on.
And with T-Bird being this early, there's definitely a lot of potential intersections that can send you in all the wrong directions.
See, that drop he just took was a forced drop directly after Thunderbird, and it landed him to the top of the L7 drop room. Now he's going to be put into a 50-50 drop situation, more than likely. But he's going to have a choice. And, in this type of situation, I may explore around to see if Dark Link is just around. Because sometimes the 50-50 drop situation, you're screwed either way. Yeah, AlanHeffley wants this item because it's definitely a magical container.
Yeah, the more magic, the better.
Did he not get it? I could have sworn he was just in the item room, wasn't he?
Nah, he died to the Doom Knocker and backed out.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully he can cast Thunder. I'm completely confident in TheAlanHeffley's skills that he can take out the bird with attack 5. That's no problem.
Yeah, I didn't see how much Thunder cost on AmazingToaster's side. And the menuing is happening so fast, I can't see it. I can't look at it long enough to actually see it.
It's 60. So at Magic 5, it's 77. So TheAlanHeffley can barely cast Thunder. But it doesn't matter because all he needs to do is cast it once and take down the bird, attack 5, no problem.
Yeah, it's just a matter of needing to cast something prior to getting to T-Bird.
Oh,
because then you'd have to waste a life to get your magic back.
I got a 500-point P-Bag drop sighting on Red Iron Knuckle and Palace 6, so they do exist. Alright, so what TheAlanHeffley wants to do in this room is drop down all the way and then go left. But meanwhile, AmazingToaster is just burning through this palette, the GP. He finds the extra life, takes it, probably for the memes.
Well, having the extra life in GP is never a bad thing.
Yeah, you already got the bird down. You've only got a few rooms left. I mean,
yeah, last thing you want is to have to go through the whole thing all over again.
what in the heck just happened? The AmazingToaster just up an aid.
I guess it all depends on how well. I would assume that these runners would be able to take better mental notes of this place than I can, for sure. So maybe the next intersection that he has to take maybe is just faster to just go from the start.
Maybe you go to T-Bird and then you make your first available upward elevator or down to the left. I'm guessing. It might have been a big loop, and sometimes it's easier to just up an A to get back to where you were to get out of that loop.
Right.
So after he sees Thunderbird, you're going to see him making some unconventional plays, like maybe going and taking an upward elevator or taking an elevator down and making a left-hand turn. Maybe. Yeah, AmazingToaster absolutely toasted that turkey.
Oh, yeah.
It's not quite Thanksgiving yet, but he wanted to show his skills off.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving to enjoy turkey.
Yeah, absolutely. And AmazingToaster is showing us, that's possible. But in all seriousness, though, like, who really likes turkey? Ugh, I think turkey's disgusting.
I like turkey.
It's dry, man. It's just some fake-ass chicken.
Well, I like chicken, too.
I love chicken, but I think that turkey's disgusting. It's dry, and the flavor is kind of bland.
Well, I mean, I don't have turkey all the time, but I do enjoy it every now and again.
Okay, so there it is. AmazingToaster is making that weird left, I believe. So this is probably a new pathway. Looks different. I don't remember Bullet Hell with the flying horsey heads. Immediately into a theater room. This could be ugly.
And meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley taking on Karok, and will be roughly 10 minutes behind AmazingToaster getting into GP.
I disagree with chat. Look at AmazingToaster's side. What a loop. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen that in a while where the fairy room just kind of loops into itself. Man, Toaster is freaking out right now looking at the SRL. Meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley is on his way to GP. Enters at the 131.03 mark. The barrier rises up, and he enters. One more up and A from AmazingToaster, and TheAlanHeffley will kind of be in the pseudo lead.
Yeah, and crossproduct and fon2d2 are pretty much neck and neck. They have all the spells that are required anyway. They all either one have to do is get through 4 and 5. I'm trying to remember, where was that flute again?
The flute was in Heart Container Cave on the Western Continent.
I don't think crossproduct or fon2d2 have that.
Oof. I gotta get ready for work.
So
I have to get ready
down
for
to whoever
work.
finds that first.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to get ready for work at some time, and then probably next 10 minutes I'm gonna have to geese. So.
Okay. Thank you for joining us here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You dropped your internet connection dropped, and you're having some buffering issues. So I figured out I'd help out for as long as I could. It's my pleasure. I absolutely love this game. So anything I could do to help out, and it's really awesome that the Zelda speedruns organization came to help us out with the restream and hosting our race.
Oh yeah.
Very much appreciated.
While I cannot provide particularly insightful commentary, I can stick around and keep Melee company here as we watch the rest of this play out. I've been tracking TheAlanHeffley, and he's gonna have the last thing to get tracked here in just a moment, so I will not have to be multitasking quite so hard.
Yeah, unfortunately, TheAlanHeffley having to take a death to Thunderbird, not having enough magic to cast Thunder.
Remember, you're about 5 to 10 seconds behind us.
I'm aware. I'm just gonna have to deal with it.
The AmazingToaster finding the bottom of the L7 drop. This could be trolly or it could be huge. It just puts him in the Trails room, and it does. Oh man, worst case scenario for the AmazingToaster here. I feel like he's done 110% of his pallets. That's a big kappa. That's like Omega Kappa. Like this, GP just basically stuck the middle finger up at AmazingToaster with the fairy, the fairy room, the fairy room loop, and then the drop immediately into my room, which is all the way back at the beginning of the palace. Like,
yeah, that definitely stinks. But
hey,
either way, AmazingToaster still has a significant exploration advantage over TheAlanHeffley on GP.
Yeah, absolutely. This GP's been very nasty to AmazingToaster, which has made this race pretty exciting at this point. But he does have a huge exploration advantage to TheAlanHeffley. So I mean, it's still going to take a lot. If TheAlanHeffley happens to take the right turn, I have a feeling that AmazingToaster knows where he has to go at this point. Maybe downstairs in the Jackman's room. I don't know, but anyway, I'm gonna let you guys get to it, man. I gotta get ready. But thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you, Lost Pirate, for stepping in.
No, thank you for covering 2 matches tonight. Technically 3, because we're watching 2 right now.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I absolutely love to do it. You guys have a great night.
Yep, thank you.
Ooh, and TheAlanHeffley taking a game over to Thunderbird, having to start back up at the top.
Thankfully, it doesn't take too long to get to there. It's just
Still
everything that comes after
inconvenient.
Thunderbird is the issue.
And Still, taking a game over, taking a full death, not something anybody ever wants to do.
And that's part of the advantage AmazingToaster had coming into GP, having more magic, more health.
Yep. Yeah, being over an hour and a half into this and no .duns in this 4-player race, definitely something that's probably concerning all of the people at this point, wondering what is the twist, what is wrong with this seed, why is it terrible today?
Oh, like my race from a couple days ago when at least for me I didn't see a done until about 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were in the very first match, right? The one that the one that ran over 2 hours long?
Yes,
yeah,
I was.
I got some... Wait, I didn't know that was a thing that could happen.
This is Randomizer.
Well, yeah.
Plan for the best. Hope for the best. Plan for the worst. Doesn't matter which game it's for.
Fair enough. And I have a tendency to roll seeds that are either very fast or very slow. Kinda don't tend to roll in between neutral seeds very often. There's always something dumb. Either things are just absolutely front-loaded and it's crazy fast, or there's dumb logic chains that gate a bunch of progression way into the end of the run.
Well, I think in this case, the worst of it was having to go to dig out the item in Palace 6 to get the reflect spell.
Yeah, having to double dip that, and that is not a short dungeon.
And meanwhile, crossproduct and fon2d2 are working their way through Palace 4.
Mm-hmm. And TheAlanHeffley starting Thunderbird again.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to make better work of the stupid bird in a palace full of stupid birds.
Let's see if we're getting our holiday meal shortly. And yes, we've got crossproduct and fon2d2 both working their way through. Oh, looks like fon2d2 is now finding that boss. Carrick, is that right? Am I learning the names?
Yes.
Hey.
Yep, and the wonderful, in-depth strategy of fighting Carrick. Sit in a corner and just sit
and
there.
AmazingToaster getting the dot done. First place in this, and taking the win over TheAlanHeffley. An official time of 1:38:16. I will see if he's interested in joining us for an interview.
Yeah, that definitely was Great Palace, living up to its labyrinthine reputation.
I'm assuming hopping into the waiting room there was you agreeing to an interview.
Sure.
Hello, AmazingToaster GG.
GG. Wow, that was a seed.
It most certainly was.
So did anybody have fun finding the glove?
I think crossproduct was the last one out of the bunch to find the glove.
It
And
wasn't
that long ago either.
Yeah, it was in a spot that was gonna troll you pretty hard.
This seed had a few interesting trolls. How'd you enjoy that double dip on 6?
I went in, and when I realized I was out of resources to continue searching, I was like, okay, let's go hit 3, and then see what I get out of that, and whether I have to go back to 6 or...
And of course, 3 ended up leading to Life, which you already had a cheaper version of anyway.
Yeah.
And I guess just for context, right now TheAlanHeffley's been kind of banging his head against Thunderbird. He's been having some issues.
Yeah.
You definitely had an advantage because AlanHeffley is right now is at only 5 magic containers and 6 heart containers right now.
Oh, yeah.
And taken another game over to Thunderbird. That's the second now.
And TheAlanHeffley, you guys were largely neck and neck through most of this, though you did have about a 10-minute advantage getting into GP.
GP was pretty trolly too.
And is fon2d2 chilling out in 5 now, or is this a double dip elsewhere? I'm sorry, I do not recognize them.
I want to say this is a double dip into 1. 1 was the purple one, right? In this state? Yeah.
If this is a heart container, it's 1.
This is a heart container. So, fon2d2 just finishing up a dip back into 1, and save quitting out, resetting. Probably not what they were looking for.
Nope, both crossproduct and fon2d2 still missing that flute.
Yep, as TheAlanHeffley keeps working in Great Palace.
Yep, and Fawn definitely looking to be 100%ing this seed, having found the magical key. Was the only one of our forerunners to find it. Yeah. He took his time. He actually mapped out all of Death Mountain, or at least all the relevant parts of Death Mountain.
And TheAlanHeffley on Thunderbird round 3 now. We'll see if this goes any better. Cross product, cruising around Maze Island, trying to find all the goodies there. So AmazingToaster, congrats on the win in the 4-way mega match. Feeling good about that?
Yeah, I mean, this seed was it was pretty bad, and then but I knew I had an advantage coming in.
And fon2d2 now having that flute will be making his way to 3-Eye Rock to knock out Palace 5.
Yes, and cross product just finding their final magic container. Not what they were looking for.
Nope. I just wonder, where the heck is that flute? Because goodness, TheAlanHeffley, you and TheAlanHeffley had that flute pretty early on, I think.
Yeah, it was up north on the western continent. Turned out to be a good thing to have. Kind of required since you needed it to get into 5.
Yeah, 3-Eye Rock making its presence felt today.
Yes, one of those things in the Swiss flags that is a maybe, not a guaranteed will or won't.
Alongside Hidden Kasuto. Which was also a yes today.
Okay, Thunderbird down to 2 pips of health. Will we see it get taken out? Because TheAlanHeffley is at under 1 pip of health.
Yeah. Very, very dangerous fight, this.
There we go. Thunderbird down. A few victory stabs.
Yeah, I'm sure TheAlanHeffley's got to be a little frustrated after all that, especially if he's paying attention to IRC and saw you not done there in the midst of that. AmazingToaster.
Yeah, he still has to do the rest of GP though.
Yep. That's one hazard when you see Thunderbird early. That leaves pretty much all the rest of GP in all its labyrinthine glory. So one thing that we kind of thought was humorous when your reaction to seeing that fairy room loop to itself.
Yeah, I decided to just go back and forth a couple times.
And cross product headed back to the eastern continent, probably Yep, finding a pea bag and not super happy about that. Still searching out that flute and has not found it just yet.
Yeah, wasn't a
TheAlanHeffley
new
taking
Kasuto.
another death, and that being a game over death. Starting back at the top again.
At least doesn't have to deal with Thunderbird anymore.
True that.
They just took out the large bird, now I just have to deal with all the smaller birds that litter this place.
Yep, and fon2d2 trying to make that path back to that. What is the 3 rock formation called? Refresh my memory.
3-eye rock.
3-eye rock. Okay, I'm learning. I don't know it all just yet. Now with the flute making their way back that way. Or at least I assume that's the plan, because as far as I can tell, that's all they've got left to do. Otherwise, full clear.
Yeah, fon2d2 is pretty much 100% at this seed. Palace 5's quite literally the only place he has left to go besides GP. Now it's just a matter of figuring out where it was again.
And crossproduct finding the cross, that not being what they wanted to find. Still hunting down that required flute for this seed.
Yeah, and so at this point, both of our runners are thinking just how far behind are they? Just because of how long it took to find that flute.
Yeah, this is not a swift one tonight. and the fact that TheAlanHeffley is still running this demonstrates that it isn't the caliber of the runner right now. That does not explain all of the slow.
And sometimes it's just it's all a matter of what you check when you check it. Like I said, TheAlanHeffley and AmazingToaster found that flute pretty early. It's just a matter of crossproduct or fon2d2 just not going that way.
So did fon2d2 just not take note of where that 3-eyed rock is, or what? Because he seems to be wandering around trying to find something. Presumably...
Yeah, possibly. Maybe he used up all of his notes mapping out Death Mountain.
Could be.
Goodness knows I'm not one for mapping things out, so it's probably not that hard for me to get lost in situations like this. So I can sympathize with what he's going through right now.
Oh, I'm always lost.
Key would have been nice to have, but I didn't want to dig through Death Mountain.
Yeah, it turned out the heart container was in Hammer Cave. The key was in Spectacle Rock.
Yep, and fon2d2 being the only one to find it. Although it is possible that crossproduct will in their hunt for the flute. Or wait, no, they did already get it. Never mind.
That would be unfortunate, but
No, they already have marked on the tracker. I just missed them picking it up. Some big old dummy. I'm sorry.
Well, we're doing a whole lot of multitasking right now, so I'm not gonna be hard on you about that.
Crossproduct picking up the final heart container, so has gotten everything at this point, aside from that flute. Whereas fon2d2 is now using that flute, although getting harassed by a random encounter there before getting into the palace.
Oh yeah, when 3-eyed rock decides to put itself in a swamp, Yeah, just traveling 2 spaces can
Slow and
be
tedious.
difficult. And meanwhile, TheAlanHeffley slowly but surely taking out this blue bird knight. I forget the name of him, but given the health situation, I don't blame him for wanting to play it safe there.
Yeah, just the tiniest sliver of health there on the AllenHeffley side. And when fon2d2 gets into Great Palace after finishing up 5, they will have the same levels as the AllenHeffley, but significantly more containers to accommodate a few more missteps along the way.
Well, fon2d2 should have 1 more level just from placing the gem.
Ah, right. That will happen at the end of this too.
Which will most likely be Life 7. Because if nothing else, I know AmazingToaster finished with 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, that 2310 is 7. Life 7.
One thing I find interesting that even though crossproduct spent as much time as he did trying to make the most out of those gems, actually grinding for a bit of health before placing gems, yeah, I want to say he's at the same levels as fon2d2 right now.
677.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, does have those extra levels to help out, as well as full magic and health containers.
Crossproduct still checking all those caves, looking for that one that he missed.
Yeah, and fon2d2 fighting Guma now. Attack 5 and taking him out now. So fon2d2 will be joining the AllenHeffley in dealing with Great Palace shortly, as crossproduct continues to try to figure out where that flute is tucked away. What check got missed? Where? How?
One possibly unfortunate thing is that maybe crossproduct mismarked his tracker, maybe thinking, because I believe it was said that the flute was in Heart Container Cave.
Yeah.
And if so, maybe crossproduct had already, if he tracks specific locations, maybe he already had that one marked, thinking he had already been there.
Mismarks are always a possibility in Rando, and they always feel horrible when they happen, but unfortunately human error is always going to be a factor.
Oh yes. Oh yes. If the seed doesn't, if the
getting
seeds...
to Dark Link now.
Oh, that is... Oh, good. As I was going to say, if the sea doesn't troll us, we often find ways to troll ourselves. I think crossproducts found the right one.
And there we go. Dark Link down. TheAlanHeffley taking second place in this four-way match with an official SRL time of 1:55.16.
Yeah. GG.
First note in the race, IRC. God, that was awful. He is declining the interview. Needs to go for a walk after that one.
I don't blame him one bit.
Alright. I'm gonna take off. You guys have a good time.
Alright.
Yes, sorry about that, AmazingToaster. We should have given you a nice opportunity to bow out. But thank you for coming in and chatting with us about this dumpster seed.
Good night.
Yeah, thank you and GG. So that is one race in the books. So we still have our other race still in the works here between cross-product
The
and
fourth match
fon2d2.
of the night. Coming up later, yeah. TheAlanHeffley will be back for commentary for that one. But yes, we still have cross-product versus fon2d2 playing out this seed. As garbage as it is. fon2d2 now on his iteration with the Thunderbird fight, although with higher containers and levels than TheAlanHeffley, so we'll see if they have similar difficulty or if it behaves itself a little more nicely this time. Cross product, still hunting that flute, and there it is! Promptly saving and resetting.
And if either of our runners are watching IRC, goodness knows I typically don't when I race, just because I find it distracting. But if seeing two people done and neither of them being your opponent, you're still gotta wonder what the heck is going on.
Where is my opponent at?
It's just that niggling thought of how far behind am I?
And how dumb is this seed if it's taken other players this long to complete it?
Mm-hmm.
And there we go, fon2d2 taking down Thunderbird. Full tracker marks tonight. Special thanks to Max and Lightning, both helping out with the tracking tonight.
Oh yes, thank you.
Still have two more things left to mark before all of this is over, though.
And thankfully, it doesn't take cross-product nearly as long to rediscover Three Eye Rock compared to fon2d2. But he still has a bit of ground to make up. Now it's just a matter of what path does fon2d2 take through GP, and does that give cross-product enough time to not only get through all of P5, but to get through Great Palace as well.
Yep, so cross-product has found literally everything that is useful at this point. Can fairly well conclude that the Palace 5 goodie is just points, a point bag or some such nonsense that they are probably
Most
not
likely,
all too
yes.
worried about. So we'll just be trying to find Guma and be on their merry way. As fon2d2 continues to dive around Great Palace. and I do not know the rooms anywhere near well enough to be able to commentate how far or not they are. Cross product now in that Gooma fight. Still has plenty of magic and life left, so this shouldn't be too rough a fight.
Yeah, goodness knows I'd probably have to map out GP to make sense of it even when it's not trolly like this. As long as I can keep track of where I've been and where I haven't been and where all the dead ends are, then that's good enough for me.
When I was a youngster, and when I was a teenager and went back to it playing this vanilla, I never actually beat Zelda 2 because Great Palace is huge, complicated, and labyrinthine, and yeah, I could never make my way through. Even with
Thank
the
you,
advent
Nintendo
of,
Power,
like,
for helping me through that.
I was gonna say, even with the advent of, like, FAQs and stuff. Yeah, no.
Yeah, way back in the day, I had what was called the NES Atlas, and that was definitely a huge help.
But I do still have my gold Z2 cart, and a thing that most people don't still have handy, the manual. It's gorgeous, by the way. It's back in the era when manuals had lots of useful stuff in them. And cross-product now, entering Great Palace as well.
Back in the days when people had half a chance of actually reading them.
Yeah, but we were kids. We didn't know reading the instructions was something society looked down upon. And they had useful stuff in them back then.
Yes, like the actual plot of the game.
That too.
Yeah, this was back in the days when the game there wasn't enough space on the cart to actually explain what everything did. So there had to be other ways of informing the player. As opposed to now where all the information is where players are probably more informed than they ever wanted to be. So I think cross-product is more or less 10-ish minutes behind fon2d2.
That seems a reasonable ballpark. fon2d2 utilizing that very cheap fire spell to get some extra health there. Since we've got fire and life paired up today.
Yep, and under these flags, the strength of the life spell is one of the few things that aren't randomized. It's the standard 3 bars of health. I want to say if it is randomized, it could be anywhere from 1 to 5, but the cost still stays the same.
Cross product starting their round 1 against Thunderbird. Will they be able to take care of it in a single attempt? With 6, 7, 8 on their levels, and 8 bars on each. Probably shouldn't be too problematic.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit beefier than all of our other runners going into this fight. And fon2d2 getting that unfortunate drop right back to Thunderbird again.
Cross product taking a death, having to restart the fight, but not restart the dungeon. And yes, that sprite, once shield is enacted, does look like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
was being
I do see
commented
that.
on earlier in the match. That definitely does... That color scheme is reminiscent of Spider-Man. fon2d2 continuing to explore Great Palace, but I do not know what's where anywhere near well enough to be able to speculate if they're close or not to Darklink just yet.
It was a bit of a trip to Darklink, and considering that fon2d2 just got set back a good ways, it'll probably be a little while yet.
Okay, cross-product on the second attempt, taking down Thunderbird.
Nicely done. Definitely taking a more aggressive approach to that Thunderbird fight. So it's a bit more dangerous, but it got the job done. fon2d2 about to find this rather interesting fairy room.
I believe I heard these tiles being called waffle rooms in an earlier match. Is that slang for these weird breakable tiles?
More about how they're configured, if anything.
Yeah.
I've heard it referred to as chicken and waffles just because of the enemies that are often found here.
Fair point. And we're just seeing a whole lot of great palace tonight. This was not a quick trip in the door to Thunderbird to Darklink today.
Definitely not. But with cross-product beyond Thunderbird, it's really all just a race to see who finds Darklink first.
Yup, there's definitely a degree of chance involved here. They both have Thunderbird down, just gotta find the right path to Darklink.
So, my logic, which probably doesn't make much sense to anybody else, it would say that you would definitely want to check the right-hand paths first, just because you can't find Darklink by going left, at least not immediately. But if cross-product starts taking any significant left turns, that may cut out some of the travel time, and he may sneak out a win that way.
Yeah, I'm inclined to kind of go in a general clockwise exploration pattern, but I have no idea if that's reasonable or not.
Just a matter of, do you complete the seed? Yes, no. I would think that comparing yourself to other runners, particularly like the really high-end runners, especially if you're not that experienced, it's not really going to get you very far. It's not going to help your self-esteem, if nothing else. Just focus on.
I still have yet to play a Z2R seed, although having been involved in so many of these races so far in the tournament, I want to. Cross product, starting back over at the top. Other randomizer players are familiar with the type of seeds I roll, and Z2R is starting to learn that there's always something dumb. We've got that going on tonight with that double dip on 6, with that required flute for the three-eyed rock, with this particularly labyrinthine Great Palace tonight. We've got nonsense going on here.
Well, if anything, I would say that having the Thunderbird early kind of contributed to it, but it could have just been just as labyrinthine just to get to Thunderbird. But at least then there wouldn't have been that much left to get to Darklink afterwards. But
Cross product passing through Thunderbird Room again. Hey, fon2d2 has entered the Darklink Room. So, assuming there isn't something tragic in the next few moments.
And with that, fon2d2 finishes third amongst our 4 runners, but first in his particular race with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 4 seconds. GG.
And fon2d2 has agreed to join us for an interview. Just needs to find their way into here. Since ZSR and Z2 Randomizer have recently gotten affiliated with all this funsies going on, not all the runners are part of the Discord where the magic happens just yet.
Yeah, all these randomizers and their various platforms has led to me cross-pollinating throughout a good bit of Discord. Yep, and Cross Product has seen the end result and has not forfeited. Is still, he's gonna try and finish this seed out, and much props to him.
Yep, still working through. And fon2d2 trying to find their way to us, just sent a direct invite to the ZSR server, so hopefully they'll find that soon. As Cross Product continues to try and find Darklink.
At least, us as observers, once we see that Eon drop, we know that's he's pretty much right there.
I'm assuming that must have been a dead end that Cross Product just found and noped out of. Man, this Great Palace is not a kind one tonight.
It usually
Very labyrinthine.
Yeah, it was the bottom part of that L7 room that he decided not to take that drop.
Hey, GG, fon2d2. I hear you typing. We've got you in voice now. Oh, he's saying he needs to grab headphones first. Okay, I'm muting you for just a moment because you're noisy. Just let me know when you're back. cross products.
Finding that Eon drop room. We'll be finding Dark Link shortly.
Yes, cross product is now into the Dark Link fight. Or Dark Samus fight in this particular one.
Seems appropriate.
And cross-product finishing with an official SRL time of 2:15:57. Asking for
GG.
just a few minutes before popping in. Unmuting fon2d2, so we'll see if, I'm not hearing lots of noises on their end anymore, so...
I think I'm here.
Yes!
Hello,
you are.
GG.
Gotcha.
Alright. That, I thought I was doing pretty bad at the end there with, how long I spent looking for 3i Rock. Because sometimes I forget where things are, and it's just like, oh yeah, I went east and I kind of walked a bit and it was right there. And then I kind of kept that in my mind, I need to go find the flute. And I came back and I was like, I can't find it.
Yeah, that's a hazard when you have randomized maps like this. It can be kind of rough trying to remember where things are.
Hey, what's up?
And we have cross product here as well.
GG.
Hey, thanks. That was probably one of my best times. I don't know if I've ever gotten a sub 2 in one of these. I've maybe come close before. This might be like my second best time ever in a Z2 rando.
Congrats. This was not a kind seed.
No,
Honestly, just the only problem with this seed was Glove. Glove was just so troll. I'm so mad.
I forgot where Glove was.
It was in this like one tile corridor of graveyards, and then like on the top right corner of the west continent, and there was like just a cave tucked away like at the end of that corridor.
I got lucky and I found that pretty early.
Yeah, I got a Glove pretty late, but like I turned it on as soon as I got Glove, I was tearing it up. But unfortunately, I think I went into the cave right next to where the flute was and got something good and just immediately reset and never went back to that cave where the flute was. And then, of course, you know, you got to full clear Maze Island and then you find the hammer and then you got to go into Kazuto and all that. So, like, I really trolled myself by missing that one cave when I was
Both of you guys got pretty well trolled.
To be fair, the
by
flute was one of the last items both of you guys found. So
yeah.
Wasn't it just like in the open on the Western continent too? Like
pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Convenient spots are the trolliest.
Like I even went back to Death Mountain after I got hammer. I was like, "Oh, this is it. The hammer is gonna give me flute. It's got to be."
Well, the hammer in Death Mountain gave you the magic key, and I think I knew that pretty early because they said magic keys in Death Mountain. So
Really? I didn't. I talked to like 20 different NPCs, and they all didn't know anything.
So I dipped Death Mountain pretty early, found the hammer cave, and it was like a heart container. So I was like, okay, I need the hammer. And then when I went east, almost the first grass or the first forest tile wasn't a forest encounter, so I knew that was New Kasuto.
Yeah, I think
and then there was another key that said go east for the hammer, and like if New Kasuto's out, then there's only 4 places.
I didn't get the P bag in Palace 2 because I got the one hint that I found, the one useful hint told me there was a P bag in Palace 2, so I didn't go for it. I probably wouldn't have anyway if I just needed flute. Because I still had Maze Island to check out. I would have doubled back to Palace 2, but it was a P bag anyway.
Yeah, at one point I was like, the main thing I was looking for was the flute. I was like, I got everything. I know 3i Rock's in the picture. I don't have the flute. I have to have the flute. And that was also like the 2 magic spell items. It was like medicine and child. And those were the 2 spells I didn't have. And I knew it was like P3 and P6. So I finished P3. And I was like, because I think there were hints for both those. So I finished P3 and I was like, well, I'll go finish P6. And I got super trolled. And then I went reset, went a different way, found Barbara right away. So I was like, well, let me just go check out with the child. And that turned out not to be a reflect spell.
Well, actually,
so then I had to go back to P6 to finish it off.
The child led to life, and then
kind of not worth it.
Which was worthless because, dude, this was the one nice thing about the seed was having that fire cost 10 NP and getting healed off of it. That was good. Oh man, I had a good Barba fight though, right, guys? I don't know if you saw any of it, but
there must have been other things. I don't recall it.
It was slow, but I did it on the first try without having to cast reflect or anything. Felt good.
Nice.
So I did 2 practice seeds last night. One of them was about just under 2:30, and the other one was over 3 hours. So I'm happy with this turnout, and I have time to take a breather before the next thing I have going on. So
I guess as long as you're feeling satisfied about how you're doing, I guess that's the best any of us can hope for.
Yeah, I think that my execution is there. Like I feel good in combat and stuff, and I'm starting to get more comfortable not grinding for the first 30 minutes. But I lose track of where I am and miss little corners all the time. That's probably my number one area I need to improve.
And I did notice that you were like doing some post-boss experience grinding. Were you just trying to make the most out of each gem? Or
yeah, I was.
Okay.
I do that too sometimes. Like I'll take a look and it's like the gem's gonna level up magic and like
once I think when I beat maybe it was Barba. I don't remember which boss. I think it was Barba. I had like 50 XP to go to the next level. I was like, I
think it was Ribonak, but yeah, dude.
Was it? I think
you're like 23 experience away from a level.
Yeah, it was something. It was like under 50. I was like, no, I'm gonna go level up and then throw this gem in.
Oh, I've done that, but sometimes you get burned with that. I've done plenty of practice seeds now where it's like sometimes you think you can do that, and you're like 80 XP away, and then you just burn all this time.
Or worse yet, you game over.
That would be really bad.
All right. Well, I gotta get going, guys. Thanks for commentating and restreaming and all that. And I guess it's Swiss, so I'm not out of it yet.
Nope. But, it's 5 rounds of Swiss. You only need to win twice to move on. So
only need to win.
Oh,
twice.
really?
Well, I don't have high expectations, other than I expect to have a lot of fun. So I love Zelda too, and any excuse to play it is okay for me. All right. Peace out, guys.
See ya.
Have a good night.
Yeah, I pretty much joined this tournament not expecting anything. I'm used to watching people like Trails and Rose City and the other people that played a lot. So how do you pronounce his name?
TheAlanHeffley.
Heffley. Yeah. I think those are some of the first people I see playing. So I'm happy to get sub 2 when I can. And I'm not surprised that some of them beat a lot faster, but I don't feel too bad about my time, actually. I thought I was doing bad near the end, but
Yeah, that definitely was not a sub-hour seed.
No. Well, given that we have to place all 6 gems, sub-hour is not really an expectation.
Okay, that wasn't a sub 115 for even tops players, because we saw a couple tops players, and that was still over 90 minutes. And I'm sure I would still be playing and have like maybe 2 or 3 gems placed if I was trying to play this right now. So.
Yeah, it was a tough seed. It really had you kind of walking around to find stuff, and there was some treasure hunting going on. So
So I guess this will bring this broadcast to a close.
I think it's about time to transition to shameless sellout mode. Coming up later tonight, back on the main channel, Rika vs. Amazing Ampharos ran long. We were planning on running this on main, but we just didn't have the time to get it set up there between when the last match ended and when this one was scheduled to roll. But coming up, we've got Unos vs. Digshake, which I am told is a hype match to tune in for. We've got that coming up at midnight 15 on Eastern. We've got that coming up in 30 minutes, and I'll be back for that, and we'll be over on the main channel, ZSR. We've got Buzz Thunder and TheAlanHeffley returning to provide commentary for that one.
Yep, no other matches coming up at on 7 o'clock on Thursday, we have Elendar versus Zarnax 42, and at 9 o'clock, the Countess versus Scorpion Max. And also at 11 o'clock, Jay Coper versus Dr. J PhD.
Yeah, we have a lot of Z2R for you. We also have some other things coming up. Tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern, we've got an OOT GSR, previously No I Am Wrong Warp. We've got a losers bracket match for that tournament coming up versus Cruxer versus CMA. Also tomorrow evening, we've got your choice of randomizers at 9 p.m. Eastern, Z2R or Link to the Past Rando. We've got P-Train versus Dracaris coming up tomorrow night. So we have Vanilla, we have Rando, we've got all your bases covered. Come back to ZSR to watch all kinds of Zelda-related racing shenanigans. And we will, of course, as always, be trying to provide you with entertainment and insight as we go about it. Thank you so much to Melee Wizard for jumping in on not exactly long notice to help assist with comms on this one. Thank you so much. We can't do these without commentators. We would be completely lost, and nobody wants to be me.
It was just it's all a matter of when I got home from work, and I had plenty of time to spare. So this was always part of the plan. I just didn't want to commit to something that I wouldn't have been able to fulfill.
Yes. So thank you so much. Thank you again to our trackers, Max and Lightning. Thank you so much. Trackers are the unsung heroes of randomizer races. Without them, the audience and comms would all be very confused as to what we were watching because we wouldn't know who had what or any of the useful stuff like that. So thank you so much to our trackers for making sure we knew what was happening. And any final thoughts, Melee Wizard?
This was definitely a seed for sure, and it's something I've come to expect from Z2 for sure, regardless of who rolls it.
Well, then, I will let you all be on your merry way, and we'll be back in about 25 minutes over on the main channel with more Zelda 2 Randomizer coming up later tonight. Hope to see y'all back.
Have a nice night.